Okay, it is Sunday. It is 6 p.m. European time, and we're live on the LB4FH India channel. And to my left, right, whatever, I can at least point the right way. We have LB4FH, Kjetil here. And we're going to talk a little bit about summits on the air today because Kjetil does a lot more summits on the air than I do. And just for information, I have some internet issues. So should I fall out, hopefully Kjetil will still be here. Let's see who we got in the chat today. We got Lionel and we got Carl here thus far. And we'll see if anyone else shows up soon. So Kjetil, besides doing SOTA, you also have a YouTube channel. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I've been doing YouTube videos from SOTA for, 4 or 5 years. Took a break and then started again earlier this year and started it in a separate channel. So that's quite fun.
Yeah, and you make good videos. I figured I'd bring you on both to talk a little bit about SOTA and also to help you promote your channel a little bit. And how long have you been doing SOTA for?
I've been doing SOTA for a bit over 6 years, all the way since I was licensed. I did my first SOTA activation within a month of being licensed, just when I got my first radio.
Ah, yeah, I've been doing a little bit of SOTA, but I checked my statistics, and I've been doing less SOTA than I actually thought I had been doing. So, but it's all about doing radio portable and programs like Summits on the Air and Parks on the Air, Flora Fauna. All those programs encourage you to go out and operate portable. And what's your favorite thing about going out and operating portable instead of operating in the shack? What are the benefits of getting outside?
Well, the getting outside is the big benefit. Just being outdoors, it's lovely. Always been an outdoors person, and now I can combine that with the radio. So doing whatever programs I see fit wherever I'm going. And of course, it's also a challenge with equipment, with the radios, especially antennas. Lots of weather-related stuff that you can't control, but you have to live with.
Yeah, exactly. And the weight issues is especially on summits on the air an issue. So what do you do to prepare before going out? First of all, could you just tell the viewers, in case anyone doesn't know what Summits on the Air is, could you tell the viewers a little bit about Summits on the Air?
Yeah, Summits on the Air is a radio amateur program where you go to a set of mountains to activate. And it started, I think it was in England, but also very popular in the United States and most of Europe. And the point is that you have to have a summit over a specific altitude, and it has to be pre-approved. You go up there within 25 meters of the top, and you make QSOs with other people. And to get point for that, you have to have 4 QSOs, but you can also activate the summit with only 1 point. Of course, you don't get a point. You don't get a point with only 1 QSO. And point is to get out, get active. But there are drive-through summits. There are summits where you need to be climbing and everything between.
Yeah, and I just put the website up here. It's I'll put the link in the chat here. It's sota.org.uk. And and you talk about drive up summits, but it isn't as easy as just driving up and operate from your car, is it?
No, you have to move some distance by your own power. So it also means you cannot go by ATV, you can't go by helicopter or anything else that's motorized. But you can drive close, and if you, for example, are disabled and can't walk, then maybe you can go there and just get go on a wheelchair the last few meters or something like that. So it's open for everybody, but the majority of these summits are for people in somewhat of a good shape.
Yeah, that's been my experience as well. But such as most of the parks on the air parks in our part of the world as well, they're not necessarily easily accessible. But how do you prepare for one of these outings for operating on a summit? What are the steps you make before going out?
First step is finding the summit. Basically finding out where do I want to go. Do I want to drive for a long while? Do I want to go overnight, or is it just an evening hike? That has something to do with what I choose to go. Weather is then the second parameter. Is it possible to go outside or not? In this part of the country, it's not always safe to operate. Like this weekend, I couldn't go because of mudslide danger. It's been raining a lot. And then I start looking into how do I get to the summit. Most of them I have to drive to because there's no public transport to most of them. And then you have to have a place to park legally and leave the car in a safe place. And you also have to find out how do I get up to the summit. There are lots of databases in Norway, like something called ut.no, which is a hiking guide. And but you can also look into maps. For example, the SOTA map frequently shows trails up to a summit.
Yeah, I can put the SOTA up on the screen here, which is probably easier and more relevant for most of the viewers here. Just the area at least close to me here. Let's see here if I can get this. There we go. And there you can see all the summits marked as green spots here. Isn't that correct?
Yes, greens are different colors. The more closer to red, the more points you get, and the higher the summit is.
Yeah,
So,
and I can just show the difference. This is my part of the country. I live down here in Halden, and I have, as you can see, not a lot of summits nearby. The good thing about them is that they're pretty much easily accessible. But if we look at the southwest coast of Norway, where you are located, you have a lot more options than I have to do summits on the air.
yes, but still within an hour's drive of me, I only have like 15 or 20 summits, and that's not enough for a year. So usually I take many of them more times during a year, maybe 3 or 4 times, and some of them I drive longer just to like pick something that's far away from home. So it's like
Yeah,
geocaching. You always leave a simple summit close to unactivated, so you can do it on a rainy day if you have to go out. Um, so my goal this year was one a week, and I can see there's some issues with the SOTA database today, but I believe I'm at 54 or 55 so far this year.
yeah. And
Um,
that's pretty good though. If your goal is one a week, you still have superseded that goal though.
yeah,
So
some people are really extreme at this, like they take 2 or 3 in a day. So that comes to the people that are in good shape.
yeah.
Yeah.
But do you need to be in really good shape to do summits on the air? For most of the summits, if you exclude the drive up summits, or can regular people do it as well?
No, at least for example, where you live, there shouldn't be a problem at all. I also seen activated in a few other countries, and I drove down to Luxembourg, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, and Denmark this year, and all of them had very simple summits, things
Yeah,
everybody could go to.
yeah, because some of those countries aren't the countries you really think of as mountainous places. So
Netherlands was actually surprisingly good. It was the mountain there was higher than like you have there in your county, but barely.
yeah,
So, but those were like maybe an hour's walk, so most people can handle that. But it's something you have to take care about. Safety is an important part of the SOTA program. Being safe, actually coming home again, because it is dangerous to be on a mountain,
Yeah.
or can be.
So equipment wise, if you just exclude the radio part, what kind of equipment do you bring for these summits when you go out? And we'll do the radio gear later on. But except for the radio gear, what kind of equipment do you bring?
I have two loadouts. I have summer and winter. Yeah, I see Lionel have a question there, and
Yeah.
it's there's something called a primary factor, a P factor, which is how high a summit is around uh, the lands around it. Like you have the equidistant lines going up to a summit, and that has to be 150 meters, which is 450 feet or something like that.
Yeah, about 450 feet.
Yeah, in some countries that varies, but basically it's you can do some sort of mathematical calculations on a map, and they just pick it from that. But in some places, it's done manually as well. So if anything is missing in your area, you can talk to a manager, a regional manager, which is listed on the SOTA website, and then you can get them added. So
Yeah, and that's important though, because the locals are probably the ones that know most about the surrounding terrains and the summits.
yeah, but the mountains are picked only from elevation, not from difficulty.
Yeah.
So you can have a low mountain, which is really hard to reach or impossible to reach, and a high one that's easy to reach. So the points follow the height and nothing more.
Yeah. But back to the loadout, what do you carry in your backpack except for the radios?
For the summer loadout, I usually pack light clothes, rain clothes, even if it's not rainy. I pack bug spray, a lot of that. And of course, always have a first aid kit in all my backpacks. It's always there. Just a simple trauma kit, nothing big, but something that can take big cuts and stuff like that. In summer, I have water filtering, and I have some extra food, enough to last for a few hours at least. And yeah, that's the basic summer loadout. For winter, I pack a lot heavier. You don't need as much water because it's not as warm, but you need warm clothes and dry clothes. And I use something called fjellduk, which is water and temperature-proof poncho, military poncho. And I always bring that in winter activations. I got the same medical kit with me, and also got matches and stuff to make up a fire if possible. And for winter hikes, no matter how long they are, I always have enough food to last overnight in case I'm out for a long time.
Yeah, and that's back to the safety factor though,
Yeah.
because you got to ensure that you're safe, because you're usually in areas that are at least quite a while from population areas. So you need to be able to manage at least for a couple of hours or more by yourself. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, 24 hours is what I
Yeah.
pack for. I at sometimes if I do some like ultra light simple ones, I skip some of the safety gear, but that has to be a very simple one for that. And you
Yeah.
always have to be able to help others as well.
Exactly. And it's not like if you I don't know if you've seen Radio Runner's channel on YouTube
No.
from New Zealand, and he well, it kind of lies in the name. You know, he does kind of 12 summits in a day running up, and he's got a really light loadout. But
Mhm.
when you look at the mountains there, they're well a lot different than in Norway, and probably a lot more easy accessible. So the gear would probably vary from where you are in the world, I would think.
Yeah, and also uh, I do vary it after weather. So like if it's -20, it's a very different loadout. And overnight camps is also very different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see Lionel comments that about the radio runner that it basically runs up mountains. It's amazing to watch, and just look up Radio Runner on YouTube. He's got a lot of exciting SOTA videos that are a little bit different from the way we're used to do SOTA in Norway, anyway. And I see
yeah.
45 autos been either learning Norwegian or doing Google Translate, but anyway, he is correct. Although it's ettermiddag is afternoon, and it's probably more of evening now. If you should be really specific about it, but thank you, 45 Auto.
Yeah,
So
we do have some running groups here as well that run up and down mountains, and it looks scary as hell.
yeah. And I see 45 Auto comments that it was supposed to be Swedish, but the languages are so close that the differences aren't always easily spotted, at least not in easy sentences. But radio wise, Kjetil, what do you usually bring? Do you do a full QRO pack out, or do you bring lightweight QRP radios?
Uh, I mostly use a Ciego X6100 at the moment. So that's
Yeah.
10 watts. And I run it with an external battery pack to get those 10 watts. But I tried it with a lot less as well. So that's my go-to radio. I started using a Kenwood TS480Z. And for those who know that, that's not a lightweight radio. And I also started using lead acid moped batteries or motorcycle batteries. So my base loadout at that time started at 15 kilos before I started to add food and water to it.
Yeah, and that adds a lot of weight and gets a lot more strenuous to go up a mountain with
Yeah,
that kind of loadout. How much do, let's say, a typical summer pack weigh for you now?
less than 5 kilos before I add
Yeah,
water. So
yeah.
that depends on where I go. But equipment-wise, backpack with the radio and some other stuff on it is maybe 5 kilos.
Now that's impressive considering that you're carrying a lot of gear there as well.
Hmm.
But that's about being prepared, though, isn't it? Knowing and optimizing your gear for the purpose it's supposed to be used. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah, and buying the right gear and trying it. So I have, for example, a very lightweight antenna, 41-meter antenna, and that's built with a SOTA beam or uh, uh, yeah, SOTA beams antenna wire, which weighs like 30 grams per meter.
Yeah, that's
So
my
it's
favorite portable antenna wire as well. It's just so lightweight and it doesn't kink at all. It's flexible, lightweight, and works really good. And
yeah,
it's actually the cheapest, well, durable, lightweight portable antenna wire you can buy, as far as I've seen. So I can wholeheartedly recommend that. And I see we got a new viewer here, Tom Christensen. He's doing his test in 3 weeks, and I hope he gets licensed. And he was hooked at National Field Day. So good luck there. And if you don't make it, you can always take the test again. And at least both of us can recommend being licensed. There are a lot of possibilities when you get licensed. So good luck on your test there.
yeah.
I
Good
see
luck with
Lionel.
that.
Yeah, I see Lionel also says good luck here. So that's good. And how long do you operate for when you're on a summit?
That varies a lot. Most of my activations, I would say, are less than an hour, maybe closer to half an hour. But I do have some where I sit a long time. And I have some that I just go up there, get my QSOs, and go down again because the weather turns so bad. Sometimes I also do overnight activations.
Yeah,
So
and
all
and
all across the
yeah.
board.
But the good thing about summits on the air, though, is that you can spot yourself. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, you have to. I think I've done one or two activations that I didn't spot myself, and it can work, especially on 2 meters, if you actually get any response at all. Otherwise, it's hopeless to call CQ with a QRP station.
Yeah,
So
it is. It usually is. But my experience when you spot yourself on SOTA, there are a lot of they're not called hunters in SOTA, are they? They're called
chasers.
chasers. Yeah, a lot of chasers looking for your spot. So you
Yep.
usually get pretty soon, even though you're running QRP. At least that's my experience. And there's usually Foxtrot for what's this suffix there? You
Whiskey
can
Bravo
probably,
November.
yeah, yeah. He's
Yep.
usually first, no matter where
Yeah.
you are. So, and that's if you're a new operator and haven't experienced a pileup, doing those kind of portable activations. It's a good experience, and it helps you enjoy the hobby. At least that was my experience the first time I did summits on the air.
Yeah, and the pileups here can be just as hectic as contest pileups. Like if you run one of the big high power stations during a contest and SOTA, it can be just as intense. Maybe
Yeah,
last a bit shorter, but still it's fun. And fun part is when you get summit to summit, which is when you speak to someone on another SOTA summit, and sometimes you get pileups of those. So there are lots of people on other mountains that want to speak with you.
yeah, and that's kind of exciting though, because those stations are also usually running QRP, and they've been doing the same strenuous activity as you have to get up there. So I guess that's a big kick. At least it's been for me for the few summits I've had. And let's see, radio wise, you mentioned 2 meters there. Do you usually do 2 meters, or what's your favorite band while activating?
20 and 40 are the main ones. And I can't get the statistics now since the database thing is down, but I'd say most of my QSOs are on 20 and 40. It's like 70-80% of them.
Yeah, that's been my experience as well, both with summits on the air and parks on the air. That 20 is kind of the golden band of doing this, because you usually have activity on 20 meters, at least during daytime hours, which helps you along pretty much. And it also reduces the need for bringing a longer antenna, because the antenna is sometimes the most tricky part to get up when you're at a summit or a park, or wherever you're running portable. At least that's my experience. So I usually carry at least 2 antennas just to have some options. What do you do there, Kjetil?
I usually use one antenna, which is end-fed antenna set as inverted V. That is very flexible, even in forests, in dense forests and everything. Issue is with wind. Like if you get gale force winds and up, like 20 meters a second and up, then it's problematic to get it up and to keep it standing. And at 25, the normal SOTA beams masts break. So that's an issue. I also keep a very simple dipole for 20 meters as a backup. That's it.
Yeah, my antennas for portable, I use 2 antennas. I use an end-fed half wave, which adds a lot of flexibility, as it's resonant on several bands. But lately, my go-to antenna has been actually a 17-foot whip, which I mount on a ground mount, and it doesn't take up a lot of space horizontally, which makes it easier to place, and you can just put it into the ground, put up some radials, and put the antenna up. But the downside to that is that it's a monoband antenna. It's a quarter wave vertical for 20, so it's not as easy switching bands as it is on an end-fed half wave, though.
Yeah.
So I usually carry an end-fed half wave as well, and that's, it helps reduce feed line compared to a dipole, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I used to use SOTA Beam's band hopper antenna, which is a linked dipole, and that's an amazing antenna. A really good radio properties for it, but it's complicated when you want to switch bands because you have to retract parts of the masts to get to change bands, and you have to
Yeah.
get up and walk there, and that's why I stopped using that, basically.
Yeah, and I probably shouldn't say this because I mean I make a link dipole kit for sale, but even though your results might be better with a link dipole, the easy operating with NFED half wave just makes the NFED half wave a better antenna for operating portable.
Yeah, I use both. So, for example, when we in Scandinavia we have something called the SSA portable test, which is a portable contest, and I think you've been in that as well.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, and in that one you operate on 20 and 40, and I usually use the band hopper for 40 meters because it's basically an amazing antenna on 40.
Yeah.
And you need that. So when you're running 0.9 watts, that I usually do on that contest, you need all the antenna you can get.
Yeah, and but you still need as little feed line as possible though to get all of those 900 milliwatts out into the antenna.
Yeah. So, but for those who don't know that tests that are from Scandinavia, it's really fun to be in there. So you get a multiplier for contacts, which is 4 times if you're running less than 1 watt, and
Yeah.
so that is fun. But so
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so I do actually do quite a lot of contests work from SOTA and from parks or flora fauna. So I do that portable since I don't have any equipment at home. I don't have any place to mount antennas. So that is also possible.
Yeah, and now you're actually getting into to an important point here, which I really didn't think about until you mentioned it. It's good for people that don't have the ability to put up large antennas at home. You can still go out, you can operate, and you can get those QSOs, which is a good thing. I'm lucky enough to live out in the countryside and can pretty much put up any antenna I want, but if you live in an apartment building or in a town or a city, it might not be as easy to get antennas up.
No, I could probably get a mag loop indoors here. That's about it.
Yeah.
And that would be very directional.
Yeah, exactly. It would be very directional, and it's a high Q antenna, so it's also you got to tune around a lot when you're changing bands or even changing frequencies.
Yeah.
And 45 Auto says that it's his neighbor enjoys the microwatt contact, so he would probably enjoy the SSA contest.
Yeah, it's fun, but the point there is getting out. The funniest part is everybody sends in a photo and a description of their operating location. So last week we got an email with a summary of all the operating places. That's really fun to see.
Yeah, and
Lots of SOTA, lots of flora fauna, lots of other portable. You have to be portable.
yeah, and I mean, watching how other people operates, and I guess that's kind of the thing I find fascinating about your YouTube channel as well, is that you can see how other people solve the different problems when operating either at home or portable, but especially portable. And I really enjoy that kind of content and see how you overcome challenges and get some inspiration from that. And I would guess you as well watch some Summits on the Air channels. I would guess so. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, I watched some. I watched some other radio-related ones, some very technical ones. I'm not a very technical person myself, so I don't put that in my videos. But I watched some about preparedness, some about different modes, like the ones you've had on your streams here have been really fun. Watching the different digital modes and finding out how they actually work.
Yeah,
So
and that was actually pretty selfish from my side on doing the Digimode streams because it was a way of me for just trying out the different Digimodes and see how they works and be sure that I got some QSOs on them. And I just put your YouTube channel up here, and I would really recommend everyone to subscribe to it. And they're mainly activations from summits, almost, isn't it?
Yeah, until now it's mostly that. I do have some other ones. I've uploaded some older ones as well, but most of what I do is hiking outdoors. So I want to show the story about how do you travel outdoors, how do you get to a summit, what challenges are there by working outdoors. If my antenna breaks, then I want to show that. If my antenna
Yeah,
falls down or if I fall down a mountain, then I want to show that, because that's like how we operate when you're outdoors. It's not the
exactly.
perfect world. So one of the most frequent comments I've got by running 80 meters in Norway is that, oh, there sounds like you have wind noises on your microphone. And yeah, I'm outdoors. But I tried lots of these different programs. I tried SOTA, which is my main one. I tried Flora Fauna. This weekend I actually tried POTA for the first time. Got a video coming up on my experiences doing that. That
Yeah.
was fun as well. I've tried the IOTA, of course, Islands on there, but that's mainly for the IOTA contest. I tried some different ones. Also tried Radar Challenge, which I understood was mixed a lot up with POTA over in the States. And Radar stands for Rapid Deployment Amateur Radio, which is from South Africa, which is really fun. Operate, get 5 QSOs, move a kilometer, rig up your equipment again, and repeat at least 4 times.
Yeah, and when you do that, you actually got to optimize your equipment
Yes.
pretty good to be able to do that quickly. Do you have a time limit in the radar challenge? Do you have to get to the next location within a set time limit?
No, but I think it was either a 6 or 24-hour mode. I haven't done it lately. Last time was in 2018 because there's nobody else in Europe that does it, basically.
Yeah.
But it's a fun thing and it's a good way to practice doing the equipment up and down. But when you do a lot of SOTA or parks or whatever else, you train a lot on that anyways.
Yeah, you do, because you don't want to spend your time rigging the equipment up and down. So that actually is important, and from a preparedness standpoint, I believe these programs, portable programs, actually help you prepare in a preparedness sense, because you know how your equipment works and you know how to optimize it in a non-ideal setting, and that could be a good skill to have in other situations. Say if there should be a natural disaster and such.
Yeah, I said earlier, I rigged up my antennas in a full storm just to see how that works, and ended up breaking my antenna. So no, I'm not doing that again. But I know what works.
Yeah, and then you and it's just as important to know what doesn't work, though,
Yeah,
so you can avoid doing those things there. And I see 45 Auto think that the radar challenge has got to be done within a UTC day, and he
mm,
also put a comment that it may be 24 hours.
yeah,
So I'll have to look up on that. I've been thinking about doing something like that, because it is a challenge, and it helps you prepare, and it makes you think about what you bring, and plan ahead on how to do the challenge. The
yeah.
closest thing I've been is doing a couple of parks on the air in a row, but then there's no limit to it, and you don't really need to do it. But I'm going to look into that. That might be a fun challenge now that antenna season is coming up.
Yeah, maybe we should try it. Just get some more Norwegians in on it and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that could be fun. Another thing you mentioned earlier was with the SOTA beams wire. And another fun thing that doesn't work with that is cold. Because aluminium, when it gets cold, it gets brittle. So when you're
Yeah.
operating in, for example, minus 20 degrees Celsius, which is minus 15 or 10 or 15 Fahrenheit, then
Yeah.
that antenna breaks just like pasta or like spaghetti. It's useless.
I've actually never thought about that. I've been using the SOTA beams antenna in about -10, -14, and I haven't experienced that.
Yeah,
But
minus
it
20
depends
is the
how
best.
long you keep it up for, though.
Yeah, and same with the masts. If you get a bit of moisture in it and you drag the mast out and it's really cold, then it's just like glue and you can't get them back down again.
No.
So that's some of the fun with operating in snow and winter.
Yeah,
So
and that's an issue with cheap fiberglass masks as well. I experienced that about a year ago when I tried to do my homebrew DX Commander antenna, and bought an 11-meter fiberglass mast from AliExpress, I think, and that lasted us until the second day of freezing temperatures, and then I just heard a thump sound from the yard here, and the antenna was in three pieces on the ground.
yeah, the one I use mostly is SOTA Beam's 10-meter compact. I don't think they make it. They rebrand it from DX Commander or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's a 10-meter that goes down to 60 centimeters, 2 feet. So it's very nice to have in the backpack. And I have a longer one, which is twice the length, which is 1.2 meters. But when you go through a forest, that's horrible because if you bow down under a tree, it gets hooked on everything.
Yeah, and that's my experience as well. I've been using just cheap fiberglass masks from an automotive store here in Scandinavia, and they're cheap. They're about $15 for a 6-meter mast, but I think they're more than a meter when they're put together, and that's a lot of mast to carry when you walk through a forest. So I got to look into a shorter mast actually.
Yeah, the Biltema ones, they just break when you look at them. So they're
Yeah, but
crappy
they're
quality.
so cheap that I kind of pick up 4 at a time. So I always have a
Yeah.
backup mast or 2 backup masts.
But I tried some other antenna arrangements as well. I tried Nevis, which is
Yeah,
just antenna half a meter over the ground. That works great on 80 meters in Norway. I tried just pushing it outside of a cliff at the Pulpit Rock. I had the antenna just dangling over the edge, basically.
yeah.
That's really fun.
I'll see if I can find a video or a image of the pulpit rock here for those who haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It was actually in one of the Mission Impossible movies. I don't remember which one. But let's see. I got a couple of pictures here on.
I have some photos from an activation here, so I can show that.
Yeah, if you
If
you can
that's
just share your screen and you can put them if you have the photos there. But
Yep,
it's basically 600 meters straight down into the sea from the mountain there. See, I got
yep,
your screen here. Yeah, there we go.
yep. So this is on Pulpit Rock. This rock here, from here, it's 606 meters straight down, and this operating position is on the edge of that. And this was my TS480 with this battery, 15 kilos plus equipment to stay overnight. That was heavy. So this is not a SOTA. This is where I slept, by the way, under an open sky, which is here. You don't
Yeah.
sleepwalk more than once at this location, so it's not a problem. Um, and this is the summit above it, which is 700 something meters, which is where I activated. And really fun place. This is like the cliff on the side there. So I just yanked the antenna out over the edge just to see how it worked, and that worked
Yeah.
fine. Done that a
What
few times.
what I've been thinking about when you told me about this the first time, do you get any benefit from the salt water below, or are you just too high above the salt water to get that benefit?
I think it actually worked like an Nevis antenna vertical because you were
Yeah.
so close to the rock on the side. So it was not a good operating position at all. I didn't get very many QSOs even with 100 whiskey. So I think if you had an antenna mast and got the antenna a bit further out, it would probably be okay. But you're so high up in the air that I don't think you get any benefits.
No. So because that's something I really want to start exploring doing portable, especially since watching Walt K4 OGO Coastal Waves and Wires on YouTube. Doing all his activations close to and almost in salt water, and seeing how far he gets with QRP while using salt water as an amplifier. And I've been thinking about exploring that more, but it has not. Well, there's just not enough hours in the day for me.
Yeah, I did that last weekend with the CQ Worldwide contest. Operated
Yeah,
from a beach with a vertical antenna, and that went okay. 78 QSOs in 3 hours with QRP.
yeah.
So there's some
That's more
amazing takeoff.
than okay. That's more than okay during CQ Worldwide though, because you're competing against so many powerful stations.
Yes, so that is the times I worked on portable from a beach with vertical. It's always amazing. So it's well worth trying.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing it a couple of times. I did a Parks on the Air activation on well, just outside Oslo with a vertical beat, and I think I had 50 QSOs in 42 minutes, with the furthest away being somewhere in the middle of Canada.
Yeah,
And that was
that's
not QRP though. I used a 50-watt amplifier with my 817, but it's still impressive though for portable operation.
yeah. My only
No,
South Korea was also like that. Portable from Jomfruland near Kragerø with
yeah,
100 whiskey, and that was South Korea. Amazing
yeah.
contact.
That is impressive though when you get those contacts, and the feeling of having a sense of accomplishment from doing that is a lot more than doing it from the shack. And I see we got a comment here that my video is freezing, and that's due to my kind of lackey wireless internet access. Hopefully it's better now. If you could just comment on that. It's not that I really have an option of stopping and starting the stream again, so we'll just hope it gets better. But the software I'm using actually keeps the audio going when the video starts freezing, so hopefully that'll help a little bit for you guys. Just let me know in the chat, and if anyone's got any questions for Kjetil here about operating portable and especially SOTA, just fire them away, and we'll try to answer them. We're going on 45 minutes now, so we're nearing the end of the stream. But please do ask him some questions before we wrap things up. So what's the most memorable summit you've been activating from there, Kjetil?
It's one called Rausteinsvarten. It's in Buskerud in Norway, and it's memorable because it's so insanely beautiful. The sunsets there has been just amazing. I'll see if I can find it, but I don't think I have. I think I have some issues with the SOTA's website at the moment, but
Yeah.
that is memorable because it's beautiful. But
Yeah, and I'm not going to push my I'm not going to push my luck on doing more things that's using internet now. So
yeah, also memorable. A few weeks back, I got my first ever voice QSO with Australia, with Victor
yeah,
Kilo, and I've never spoken with Victor Kilo before, ever, even from a contest station with like kilowatt and amazing radio gear. But then I got it with 100 whiskey from a SOTA summit. That was fun.
yeah, and the thing is, so when when you're operating portable, your noise levels are so low that you can pick up those stations that you wouldn't otherwise be able to pick up.
Yeah, it wasn't a problem for me to hear him, but it was easy for him to hear me. So this is Rausteinsvarden. I'm sharing a screen now.
Yeah, I'll put it up on the screen here. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so you go up in a forest and then you come up and you just get this amazing view of the area around you. Like I had walked in a forest there for an hour, and then came up and just saw this amazing rainbow over the horizon.
Yeah.
So this place, the 2 times I've been there, have been stunningly beautiful.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
that's and that's just that's one of the reasons to go out and operate portable, because you get those nice views, you get those
hmm,
really beautiful experiences,
yeah,
which you don't get from your shag at home. And I see LB4LI is in the chat. He's gonna rewatch the stream later, so hope we can inspire him as well. He's a big SOTA activator as well, so
oh yes, been. I don't think I activated with him, but I have. So if there's one recommendation I can get is try to activate with someone, bring someone out, or invite someone. Or if you go somewhere else, check if someone is activating close to them, to that place, and ask them if they want to join you, because it's really nice and fun to meet someone physically.
yeah, it is, and it's also nice to share experiences and look at what kind of gear the other person is packing as well, and might maybe get some inspiration and improve your gear
Yeah.
from there. And I see Joachim here, L before Lima India says that Kjetil was you was his introduction to Summits on the Air, so it's your fault.
Yep. That's my fault.
And
Sorry.
it gets addictive though, operating portable.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've operated a lot from indoors as well. Where I lived previously, I had access to a club station, very good club station, and that was fun as well. But it's not the same addiction. It was just sitting indoors, being comfortable. Sometimes some big pileups, but it's not the same.
No, it's definitely not the same operating indoors. Um, it's a different kind of optimizing your equipment when you operate indoors than when you go outside, because you get many more factors to consider outside than you do from a shack, and that's one of the biggest motivational factors for me. Being able to optimize your gear and mostly of all optimize it weight wise to have everything as light as possible.
Yeah, and sometimes I do digi-modes from SOTA and other portable stuff. And then I don't bring a big laptop. I don't bring this laptop to SOTA summits. And you have to bring cables that can be working outdoors. You have to care about the weather. So it's very different.
Yeah, exactly. And I just acquired the Microsoft Surface Go 2,
Yeah,
and
I used
that's been my go-to laptop per se for portable operations. I got a couple of videos where I show it, and I'm planning to do a review on it for ham radio use. And let's just see if I got any desk space free to put the laptop. Just one moment.
yeah.
I
So
might not have desk space, but I got floor space, so I got it out of the way.
yeah, I see that there's starting to be some equipment you can use for from a cell phone, from an Android phone, for example, FT8.
Yeah.
And I'd like to try that out, see how it works with the radio I have, because that would be a good addition. But
Absolutely, and being operate. That's one of the reasons why I got the Surface Go as well, because it's a 10-inch tablet and it doesn't take up a lot of space, and you don't need a keyboard per se for using it.
hmm,
And if you use a keyboard, it's still just a cover for the screen, which could actually be helpful while backpacking with it.
yeah,
But I mean, a phone is so much lighter, and I do most of my portable login from my phone now, just because it's convenient and it's lightweight, and it's one piece of gear that you carry anyway.
Yeah. So I use Ham RS, I think is the name of the application. Same as
Yeah,
you're using. Yep.
I've been using that for a while now, and it's got its quirks, but I think it's the best phone login app there is anyway, and it's for every kind of platform, from computers to tablets to phones.
Yeah, I agree. It's the best I've seen so far. Still a lot of things that is missing, but it's way better than logging on paper, for
Yeah.
example. So also an experience using paper in wind and rain. The paper gets wet, that's okay, but wind blows it out of your hand and over a cliff, that's not okay. So I actually lost one SOTA activation due to that. I lost my log. It blew out of my hands.
Yeah, that's important. I do carry pen and paper though for backup.
Yeah, of course.
Or actually, I carry permanent markers. I always got a pair of Sharpies with me, because that tends to stick better when it rains.
Mm-hmm.
But login on a phone, and it makes it so much easier when you're uploading the logs afterwards as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So yep, it's always fun, and always fun to get things into a map and see who you spoke with and where they are.
Yeah, and get your points, because almost all of the portable programs got somewhat of a point system.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there is a bit of gamification to it, though. You always
Yeah.
want to get your score up.
Yeah, but I don't really care if I for some reason can't activate the summit. If I get 2 QSOs, well, it's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. I still
No,
upload them.
yeah, and you still got those 2 QSOs, and uploading your logs is actually important, because there might be someone looking for that rare DX entity that you're in,
Yeah.
and need to log that.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of my best advices that I've ever given on a stream. I was in a Parks in the Air stream about 9 months ago. And that was always upload your logs, because you might be that rare DX entity that someone's missing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so many people I've spoken to that says they've never spoken to an LB entity, at least from United States. So
Yeah.
always nice to be the first in the log.
Yeah, and you don't usually think about yourself as that entity that that people might be missing, but you might be. And I'm getting close to my worked all states, but I'm still missing Kansas, I think. And I can't seem to get a Q. I got one QSO with Kansas, but he hasn't confirmed it yet. So so then again, always confirm, because he might be that one person that's needed. So I see we passed the 50-minute mark. So I think we're gonna start wrapping up. I see we got Highlander here, which says hello from Russia. But we're gonna start to wrap up. But for someone that hasn't done any portable activations before, what would be your best beginner advice for them?
Firstly, find out what you want to do. Do you want to do something hard like a SOTA, or do you want to do something very simple? And find areas close to you where you can go easily and just test the equipment before you go for a long walk. At least for SOTA, know that equipment works before you go up to the mountain. That's maybe the most important part. Find out how you get there in a safe way and how you get back.
Yeah, just when he's talking about testing your equipment, I'm just gonna look up. I did a video on that a little while ago, where I didn't test my equipment before going on. That was for Parks on the Air, and actually from a car activation. But the same principle still applies, though. That always test your gear.
Yeah,
And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the funniest part there is the SOTA Beams band hopper advertising video, which is made to work on SOTAs. And the guy puts the antenna up on a football pitch. He still knows that antenna works, but it's not training.
So let's see if I can share my screen here. I got this video here, and it's I went out with every piece of gear that I brought was never used by me earlier, and that's not the way to do it though. But I made this video and I showed this video just to show people that you need to test your gear and you need to know how it functions before going out.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid if you per se fail, because that's an opportunity to learn and improve and get something that works the next time.
Yeah. But to get started with SOTA, the simplest thing is to use the SOTLA's website, SOTL.as. That shows you which summits are close to you, and go from there. Find out how you get to that mountain. Maybe look up how many has activated that mountain before. It shows that. Like if 20 people have been there, or if 0 have been there, that's an indication if it's an easy summit or not.
I'll put that up on screen here just quickly here to just show it. And I can just zoom in and find a random summit here. And well, it might be because the SOTA database is down that it doesn't load here now.
Oh, actually. Yes, or the link or something. But that would say if it's 1 or 0, or you can actually see it in the number as well.
Yeah, see how many points it is, and it says who's been activating that summit before, if any, and you can get the information up there. So SOTA is a good resource to start there. So thank you for being on the stream, Kjetil. It's been nice to learn a little bit about summits on the air, and I hope the viewers have liked it as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and hope it was interesting for people. And good luck to everybody going out, if anyone does that. And don't be afraid to ask questions. We're lots of Facebook groups that people answer on.
Yeah, and the SOTA group on Facebook actually it's a really nice and helpful corner of social media. So I can recommend that. And usually I tell people to subscribe to my channel, but now I'm going to tell people to subscribe to his channel. I put the link in the chat there, and if you can find that, just do a YouTube search for LB4FH and you'll find it there. So thank you for watching. I'll be back next Sunday, and my plan thus far, if I can get any guests, is to talk a little bit about parks on the air. So if anyone watching want to participate in the stream and tell me a little bit about parks on the air, just shoot me a message. The email address is in the YouTube description there. So thank you for watching, and please do like and comment to both our channels if you haven't done that. And until next time, 7-3.
7-3.